guys, I have a recurring thing that I say to myself when I make videos, and I know I've mentioned it before. It's pay attention to what I say, not what I do, and that's definitely going to hold true for this, because I can't jump the ball very well. I mentioned this before. Let me get my. Well, I don't need chalk. It's a jump cue. I don't think you're supposed to put chalk on a jump cue. Don't know. My memory is around 1991, 92. All of a sudden, everybody's got to have a jump cue. Don't know if I ever saw one before. I was living in Seattle. I moved there in 91. Everybody's got to have one. You get one, and then all of a sudden you look like a good player or a real player. I don't know if people were, flat out wrong, still learning what they're supposed to do with a jump cue, things like that. All I can really go by is my experience, which was pretty limited. I did use a jump cue playing 8-ball in league mostly. A few times in 9-ball. Usually I would do a kick shot in 9-ball. But one of the things that, I don't know, somebody told me once was, if you're going to do a jump shot, it's like this, but then you can just raise up. And if you did this, like a Keith McCready might do a jump shot like this, you looked like you didn't know what you were doing. Somebody told me that, and somebody told a bunch of people that, or we all just kind of learned by watching each other, and that's what we would do. We would have oftentimes even literally get lined up down like this, and then just raise up. So we kind of got the same shooting stance, but we're just at an angle all of a sudden. And basically all I ever did, like at these balls, I'm not going to make any jump shot, okay? But I am probably going to get contact, at least for the first few demonstrations. So I got the 6 on this diamond. I've got the cue ball on halfway between these two diamonds. It's on this little shark's fin jump pad thingy bob. And the 9's just over here by the side pocket. So get lined up, come down here and get raised up if you want to. And about like this, about 45 degrees is about the most I can do. Like at my height, if I'm taller, then I could, like right now I'm standing on my toes. But that starts to feel pretty awkward, even though I wasn't standing on my toes. But up to like 45 degrees, then I could do okay. So, no, I know I've also said before, I pretty often get a good hit, but I never make the ball. I'm not that worried about it either. I don't play the games that allow these. If I had a situation where, I need to clear a ball that's closer to the half diamond, well, I couldn't do it, but it would require more elevation than I can get, like this. And what we all did back then was we would switch to a dart stroke. So I'm going to move this up. It's a ball and a half now between the 6 and the cue ball. Yeah, about a ball and a half. And we would switch to a dart stroke. I have to take this apart now. This is my J-hand shoe. I've shown it many times. It's longer than the other jump cues I've had in the past by about this much. And if I take that off, then I can do a dart stroke without this back end being too heavy and seeming weird. But this would allow me to get higher up than 45 degrees. This is one of the cases also where I'm not going to clear the 6. But an awful lot of people could clear the 6. And even someone can even clear the 6 and make the object ball. Hitting, if I imagine the face of this cue ball, from whatever angle I'm at. I'm just imagining it as a circle basically. I'm not aiming to the center of that circle, just a touch below the circle, a touch towards me on that circle. And that's the same as if I'm here or wherever I am, just a touch below the center of that circle. So if I want to do a dark stroke, just like this, basically all the wrist. And I guess that's why this indentation is here, because it's a pretty handy place to stand. And just try to just jab into that point like that. Whoa! I'm very surprised that I made the jump and made a shot. But it doesn't matter. I felt like I'm going to hit the road now with my jump cue. If I had to get closer than that, so now I'm maybe like a half ball. I had to come up even higher. Hell, in this case, because my light is so low, I've always been doing the dark stroke and coming up almost straight like this. This is correct. Well, this is 90 degrees. This is 85 or so. Another case where I'm not going to clear the 6. Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen last time. So there's a limit. Like I already said, one of the things that people kept saying you want to do is as much as possible, you want to keep your stance the same as your normal stance, as you're doing this. If you have to switch to a dark stroke, then it's like this. Never with the sidearm stuff. But here lately, Accusatch has been putting a lot more videos out on YouTube. So free, and a lot of them have been 9-ball and 10-ball. So I've been watching a lot of it. I do like to watch pool, and even some of it I've been enjoying. And I've been noticing a lot of the people that are very good jumpers with their jump cues, when they have to get up past about 45 degrees, instead of switching to a dark stroke, they are switching to the sidearm thing. They're switching to sidearm. This must be one of the things that has evolved over the years, since 1992 or 1991. Back then, this was the sign of a beginner, Nowadays, like I said, people like Federer and Shane, they're doing that. If they have to get up more of an angle than their height will allow them to do, like this, more or less their regular stance, instead of going to a dark stroke, they're going sidearm, going up like this. I tried to do this before I turned the camera on with this sidearm thing. I never once I don't think the cue ball even left the surface of the table even once. So clearly I'm not doing something right. I don't know what, but it might be a million things. Yeah, see, the cue ball did not leave the surface of the table. But that's what was happening. But the good players, the good, jump shot shooter people, they can do that, and a lot of them, when they have to get that angle where it's not comfortable for them to be like this, then they'll just go sidearm with it. I thought that was interesting. A couple people, I'm sure there's more than a couple, the only one I can think of on the top of my head is Mike Massey. He will shoot jump shots, well, A, almost all with a dark stroke, and B, one-handed. And he says that's because, well, he says he's better at it like that. Of course, Mike is a really tall guy, and he's got one of the best strokes in the world. But he would come up. I'm really afraid I'm going to poke my eye out. He would come up like this, and I'm not even going to hit the cue ball. Is what's going to happen here. It's got to be a balance thing that's got to be happening. Anyway, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to rip my cloth. He would just come up and jab at it somehow and clear the ball and often make the object ball. I think that's pretty rare. I don't think I've ever seen it happen in competition except Mike Massey. And when I did see it, it was actual competition. It wasn't, one of his trick shot exhibitions or anything like that. So, this is new. It's new to me because it's new to me. I haven't been paying attention to people shooting jump shots over the last 20 years at least. Because I haven't been playing those games. I haven't been watching those games. But it's changed. It's changed from the dart stroke being much more common at steep angles to being almost non-existent at steep angles. And at steep angles, instead, they're coming out sidearm. I would like to be able to clear the ball or get the cue ball to leave the cloth. Baby steps. Get the cue ball to leave the cloth. Now, did I mention that I suck? Well, newsflash, I do. Well, that's the deal. I was actually kind of surprised today. Because I'm short, I'm over here on the rail, I've got my finger on the cushion to give myself the height that I want here. I can kind of do it down here as well, just on the bed of the cloth. I don't think I'm quite at 45 degrees anymore, but this jump cue works pretty well. And then I don't think clearing the ball is that big of an issue with this, which basically means somebody that was, really good at stuff like that would have no issue. Now if I come over here, where was I? I come over here now. I'm not sure what those guys do. This half time between these balls. Can I get my, okay, from this thing I can get my 45. But if I wanted to move it up closer to where on that side of the table I'm switching to a dart stroke, but apparently you're not supposed to use a dart stroke anymore. Can I go sidearmed? I'm not getting any more than 45 degrees like this with being on this side of the table. Now of course I could left-handed, but a left-handed jump shot is way beyond my abilities. Even if you get somebody that's quite a bit taller than me, they're not going to be able to do sidearm. They're probably not going to be able to do a jump shot or a dart stroke. Maybe if they're tall enough they could. So they go left-handed or they kick or what. I don't even know, man. I don't even know why I care. It's not that important. Because I'm not gonna all of a sudden try to become the jump cue guy and the master jumper. If I have something like this, I'm gonna sit on the table. Now my right foot is still touching the floor, so that counts. I think I can get to 45 degrees. They're very close. I'm clear over it. It's just a little jab. And it's the same little jab I was doing sidearm. But sidearm, as you saw, the cue ball's not even leaving the table. So, doing something wrong. I don't know, I just feel like yammering. It makes, for my documentation purposes only, that the way that I learned how to shoot a jump shot, I guess I'm stuck in the past. It's old knowledge, and that knowledge has evolved to where now it seems to me like a sidearm stroke at at steep angles is preferable to a dart stroke by most people. Found it interesting.